Hi friends, I am sharing my thought on the ongoing ethanol issue, so please listen carefully as it may give you different perspectives. When we buy a vehicle, more than half the money goes to government. There is GST, registration, road tax, insurance, so many of the expenses, half of it goes to government. When Toyota sells a Fortuner, they make a profit of just about 1 lakh rupees, whereas government pockets 20-25 lakh rupees in various forms of taxes. After collecting so much money, it is government's ethical responsibility to provide a proper ecosystem and infrastructure for 15-20 years for the life of span of that vehicle. Ecosystem includes highways, which unfortunately we are made to pay separately for the road as a toll tax. City infrastructure, again doubtful. One monsoon, all the cities are flooding, roads are gone, the cars are getting floated and submerged in water. And the third important aspect is the fuel. This is where the debate is going on. If a vehicle is not compatible with E10, E20, right, for 15 years they should give compatible fuel, E10 or E0, whatever that vehicle is made for. But unfortunately, the government is shying away from its responsibility. They are pushing down the E20 on everybody. The problem is, government has never been very honest about it. They never made disclosures about the mileage loss, about the damage to the vehicle, the original objectives, all of it. It was pushed down, it was forced upon civilians, and slowly people are waking up. They're making a lot of noise on social media about the damage to the engines, about the vehicle, fuel efficiency loss, and other issues. And now the government is on back foot. They are giving one excuse after another, one explanation after another. And the problem is, till date, is as of now, they're still not being very honest about it. They're trying to still tell lies which are getting caught by public left, right and center and forcing government to correct itself again and again. So we'll see a few of the situations or the responses they're giving. Initially, they claimed there will not be any damage, any loss of mileage. But once people started pushing for it, now the government agencies are accepting. Niti Aayog report says up to 6% loss. Petroleum Minister says 1 to 2% loss. Nitin Gadkari accepted around 4 to 5% loss. Somebody else is saying, BPCL executive said 20-30% loss. So there is no consistency in their messaging. It means they have not discussed it. They have not done any research. They have not done any analysis. They're just telling something of their mind just to push back on the criticism that is coming. Ideally, they should have done proper research and published, okay, on 5-year-old BS6 vehicle, there will be like 5% loss. On 10-year-old BS4 vehicles, there will be 7% loss in mileage. They should have been very clear by different types, like turbo engine will have a different mileage loss, right? They should have declared it properly with research data so that people get full clarity how much they are saving or they are losing money because of ethanol. This they have not done. They are just telling lie on the top of it to tell there is a minimum mileage. Second, earlier they said there will not be any damage to the vehicle, and now the government is accepting, okay, there may be some damages to rubber part. Nitin Gadkari is saying, okay, automobile companies will replace the rubber parts. Again, nothing is guaranteed. People have to believe what they're saying, which usually is lie. Now, there's no guarantee that your rubber part will be replaced for free of cost. Some companies are posting that so many vehicles were serviced, no damage was found. The problem is the service center staff were never trained to test for ethanol related damages. There was no process to report if a vehicle had ethanol related damages. The lakhs and lakhs of vehicles that got serviced, probably they were repaired as if they are normal wear and tear with the customer service center staff. Nobody is being aware that this particular damage might have been because of ethanol. So now the awareness is rising. Every damage is now being linked to ethanol, which is again hitting back on the government. Originally, they said ethanol will help us save a lot of forex, a lot of money, but now it is coming out that that is not the case. Ethanol costs a lot more to produce, more than the petrol itself, so there is no cost advantage. Government is buying maize from America. Government is buying ethanol from America. So a lot of forex is going there also. Government is giving false narrative that so much money is being given to farmers. They are cleverly hiding that most of the money is going to ethanol factories, which are owned by politicians. Only a small fraction goes to actual farmer, not even a rupee per kilo of sugarcane. So benefiting to farmer is again not very convincing, because again they are not being very honest about it. Oil companies are making lakhs and crores of profit every year. You check their balance sheet, you will know how much profit they are making. So again, saying that oil companies are in a loss is not true. So again, the government is not being honest about what's going on, how much it is costing, how they are sourcing, who's benefiting. Nothing is being publicly properly announced. Everything is sold to us as a nation building narrative. It's all good, it's all good, just believe us kind of a thing, which people have lost faith in, people are not willing to trust. So one more situation has come today, that banks have given lakhs and lakhs of crores of rupees as loan to ethanol factories. So now if the ethanol consumption is reduced, these factories will go for a loss and banks will have to suffer that loss because loans will not be repaid. Now this looks like a bigger concern, and the whole nation is expected to pay for this mischievous adventure. And the ministers who are involved, they don't seem to have basic sense. They talk without analyzing, they talk without consulting the experts, they talk without verifying whether it's truth or not. They said racing cars are using ethanol. Of course, there is a huge difference between a racing car and a normal car. The objectives are different, costing is different, purpose is different, right? So they are hiding it. When people are asking, give us E0, E10, government is saying there is no logistics support, there is no infrastructure to support all of this. But government has same logistics infrastructure to push E25, E35, E85, E100 down our throat. For that, there is no problem of space or logistics or supply, nothing. But when we ask E5, E10, E0, there is a problem. Again, very hard to believe. And we have a bigger concern. If I buy a E20 vehicle today, how long it will last? Because government is already thinking of launching E25 by 2029. Maybe then after that E35, E45 within a few more years. Now, E20 vehicles that we buy today are only compatible for E20 and not for E35, E45. But 5 years down the line, 3 years down the line, government will force automakers to say, my E20 vehicles are already compatible with E35, and make the vehicle owners suffer. So there is no, it's a very risky proposition now to buy a new vehicle, because we don't know when the support for E20 will stop. Government has made no commitment to say that next 15 years we will supply E20 without any problem. We will only experiment. We launch extra options, but we will continue supplying E20. This they have not said. So that is even bigger risk, bigger worry for people who are planning to buy a car. So this will lead to drop in automobile sales, which will again impact the jobs and the government in the taxation again. Government again gives examples of Brazil and so many other countries, but people are pulling out the actual implementation plan of those countries and comparing it with India. Those countries, people are given options. Infrastructure is first prepared before making it mandatory. Japan has still not gone to E20, E30, they're still in E1.7 something. So why rush it? Why push it down the whole countrymen? Why experiment on the whole country when the infrastructure is not ready? First government said, we have done all the experiment, everything is safe. Now they're asking state governments to verify whether the petrol tanks are capable to handle E20. Is there any problem? Is there any adulteration or water mixing happening? This could have been done 1 year, 2 years back before making E20 mandatory. If the government was honest, transparent and truthful, people would have believed more. But they lied. They tried to push it down our throat. They still continue to lie and say it's a great proposition, hiding all the negative aspects and expecting that citizens of this country will bear the entire cost and risk while they pocket all the price advantage and benefits and savings. So that's my thought. I think still there is some time for government to correct their course, be honest, give people options, take it in a stage-by-stage manner when there is enough readiness to adopt the different types of fuels. That's my thought, that's my request. Thank you very much.